What's up, YouTube? Jarrell DeMonte Driver in the building. Young Prince in the building. DeMonte in the building. Um, my last video, it got some very constructive criticism. Um, but a lot of people liked it. You know, even my youth pastor called me about it and told me about the third eye thing. I wanted to clear this up right now. The third eye thing, I didn't mean to put it in the video, but I was just using it in terms of the terminology, says analogy of the mindset that I have currently. And my mindset is just set on God and my path, the path that He has set for me. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Today's video is about being afraid. And God said, "For He has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind." And a lot of us are afraid. Like, a lot of us are afraid of the unknown. We're afraid of what we're capable of. We're afraid of talking to girls. Like, for guys, we're afraid of talking to girls. Girls are afraid of talking to guys. Or we're just afraid to talk to people in general. But I'm here to tell you today that you don't have to be afraid. Because John 3:16 says, "For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that we may have eternal and everlasting life." A lot of us are afraid. You know, I'm afraid. You're afraid. She's afraid. They're afraid. He's afraid. Everybody's afraid. We're afraid of something. A lot of us just have a fear of the unknown. When you fear the unknown, that means you're not ready to try new things. But when you stop fearing the unknown, that's when you're ready to try new things. And that's what I had to realize about myself. I had to stop being so afraid of the unknown. Because I used to be afraid of writing. I used to be afraid of praying to God. I used to be afraid of showing people that I was a Christian. I was afraid of a lot because I didn't know what people's opinion about me would be when I started doing that stuff. When I first started writing, and I mean writing my rhymes and my poems and my raps and things of that nature, people took an amazing liking to it because they liked what I was writing about. They liked how I told the truth, and I wasn't lying to them about it. When I started telling people that I was a Christian, people got used to it, and they told me it don't matter what religion you are, just as long as you just as long as you just be who you are. Just don't be afraid to be who you are. Don't be afraid to be a shining star. And then when people told me that they actually like the type of person that I am, and the type of energy that I give off, I completely took everything different. Now I'm no longer afraid to let people know that I'm Christian. I'm no longer afraid to write down how I feel. Cause can nobody change how I feel except for me? Um, Shoot. When I first started listening to hip hop slash rap, I was afraid at first because I didn't know what type of hip hop slash rap I liked. I was afraid to open up to new artists. You know, I was an Eminem stan. I was listening to so much Eminem. I wasn't listening to nobody else. But then I started listening to Kendrick Lamar. Started listening to J. Cole. I started listening to NF. I started listening to I didn't start listening to Nipsey Hussle till after he died. Rest in peace. I didn't start listening to XXX Tentacion until after he died. Rest in peace to him as well. And now I'm starting to listen to Juice World. I'm really starting to listen to him. Rest in peace to him also. Am I still afraid? Yes, but I have a reason to be afraid. I'm afraid to die. That's what I'm afraid of. Because I know that, and the reason I'm afraid is because I know that I haven't lived my full life yet. If I were to go out this house and get shot right now, I'd be fearful for my life because I know I haven't lived out my full life yet, and I know that I haven't fulfilled God's purpose for my life. I think, to me, I believe Nipsey Hussle was afraid the day that he died because, before he died, he had tweeted something saying having strong enemies is a blessing. And that same day, he was shot and killed. But he was probably afraid. But that doesn't mean that you have to be a prisoner of fear. It's okay to be afraid. But when you stop being afraid, you start noticing things changing. I feel like Juice WRLD was afraid. He was definitely afraid. You could tell from his songs. I really just started listening to him after he passed. I really wish I listened to him when he was alive, but that's just the reality of what it is. We really don't give no love until they're gone. You know, we don't give them no recognition until they're gone. It was killing me is the fact that I'm from Chicago and that I actually live in Chicago and I didn't give this man no recognition. But I gave so much recognition to Eminem. I gave so much recognition to NF. I gave so much recognition to every other artist that was from a different state, except for the ones that lived in my state, except for the ones that lived in my hometown, the ones that came from my hometown. See, I had already been listening to Polo G as it was. I just had to listen to Juice WRLD. Man was a. I watched a couple of his freestyles. The man was a freestyle god, and he wasn't afraid to show that. But what he was afraid of was his depression. That's what he was afraid of. He was afraid that he was afraid that people were gonna take him for granted, and take advantage of him. That's part of the reason he started destroying himself. I feel like he was afraid before he died, and that's the sad reality of life. A lot of us become prisoners of fear, but we have to unlock our minds and open the gates to our minds. We have to stop being prisoners of fear. You know, man, when I really think about it, and as I continue to read about his articles, Juice WRLD was put into a position where he destroyed himself. His record label destroyed him, and he felt the only way out was death. Man, it's really sad to see what happens to these rappers. It's really sad. It's really sad to see what happens to the ones that are natural leaders like Nipsey and XXX Tentacion. It's really sad to see what happens to the ones that are super talented and have so much potential like Juice WRLD. It's really sad to see what happens to them. This industry, this rap industry, is a scary place. It really is a scary place. But if you walk in the rap industry with no fear, you're gonna walk out of it with no fear. No, you see, I'm seeing it happen to every rapper that pops Percocets, that sip on lean or smoking weed. They drinking Hennessy every day. They destroying themselves. And a lot of people don't see this. A lot of people just see the entertainment. They see it for the entertainment part of it. These rappers destroying themselves and people don't see it because they're prisoners of fear. They fear that they're gonna fail. They're prisoners of fear. But we can't be prisoners of fear. As I said, God said for he has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. I don't know when my time will come, and I mean my time where people are actually gonna start noticing me. But I know that it's gonna come soon, cause I'm no longer a prisoner of fear. People, and another thing I want to talk about today was mental diseases. A lot of people probably don't know this, but I have ADHD. I do. Do I fear my ADHD? No, I don't. Because just like how I got control over all my other demons, this is just another demon that I have to get control over. That's what. That's. Man. And none of the stuff that I say is ever written down. It's always from what I'm thinking in my head at the moment. But as I said, all these rappers that popping Percocets, sipping lean, smoking weed, drinking endlessly, they don't have control over their demons. They're afraid of their own demons. They're prisoners of fear. And not just them, actors, singers. I see it happen to people. We see it happen to everybody that's a prisoner of fear. When you become a prisoner of fear, your mind becomes turned off to the real world. You stop realizing that you're making mistakes and you still make the same mistakes. You can't be no prisoner of fear. Like take NF for example. This man isn't a prisoner of his fear. He murdered it. He destroyed his fear. NF fans, I'm one of them. NF fans, his fan base don't even come from people that are fans of the culture. His fans come from people who are outside the culture. Because NF stands out. He tells the truth. And that's what I'm doing. I'm telling the truth. We have to stop being prisoners of our own fear. We have to stop being afraid. Eminem said it himself. I'm not afraid to take a stand. Why can't we be more why can we be more like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X? They weren't prisoners of their fear. They destroyed their fear. They started movements. They started movements. And they were killed for it. They were killed for starting movements because they were prisoners of their fear, because they were killed by people that were still prisoners of their fear. We have to stop being prisoners of our fear, people. We absolutely have to. I'm going to continue saying it. For God has not given the spirit of fear, but a power of love and a sound mind. This is my first time crying on camera. Stop being prisoners of your fear. Chase your dreams. Destroy your demons. I love you all. Continue to stay safe during this corona.